eraser. So I need everybody to grab a dry erase board, a marker, and an eraser. All right. The first section of the quiz we're going to take tomorrow will involve having to take a sentence and translate it into mathematics. I strongly suggest that you look at that vocab list that's in your notes. I'm talking about this right here. Remember what each key word means. And I'm actually going to add, I won't be able to do it until later this afternoon, but I am going to add some extra credit assignments that you can use to like practice what these mean. Absolutely. Just one more? Okay, anybody else need a marker or anything? We good to go? Okay, so I'm going to give you a sentence. What I would like you to do is take your best educated guess at what that sentence would be written mathematically. Keep in mind, there's some key words that I gave you. I also, in those notes, the reason it'd be good to go back and actually look at the full set of notes, I also gave you some that are commonly missed. I guarantee you'll see them tomorrow, okay? One of those examples of something we miss a lot is something like this. 7 less than the quotient of, sorry, my handwriting's being janky, a number and 2 is 8. Take that sentence. Take your best stab at what you think it would look like if you wrote it as an equation, please and thank you. Just write it on that dry erase board. I'm going to give you the answer in a minute, but I want you to try it first. You cannot screw this up. The only way you can screw it up is by not trying. Even if you miss it, it's going to make you smarter. Take your best guess. What equation would this be? The equation might be, and remember, this is one of the tricky ones I told you about. Yes, I will zoom in one more time. All right.
It says less than and then quotient.
Yeah. I know there's a lot happening in this sentence. So, all right.
It's like it's saying 7
Right.
minus divided by 8.
There's a lot happening here. All right. You cannot mess this up. You can only mess this up by not doing it. It's the only way you can mess it up. All right. So the tricky part is this part right here. I'm going to write something in red. What does red mean? Wrong. This is what I see a lot of people do frequently. They say, okay, 7 less than means I'm going to subtract. Okay? Yes, it does mean you're going to subtract, but you're not subtracting 7 minus something. 7 less than is that turnaround phrase that I told you about. So you're going to do something, I don't know what, and you're going to take 7 from that. So the minus actually belongs in front of the 7. That's that turnaround phrase I told you about. Something minus 7 is what 7 less than means. Quotient. The key word for quotient. Where was the word quotient? What operation was that? That was division. So what are you going to subtract 7 from? You're going to subtract it from a quotient. So I need a fraction bar. Now, I don't know what I'm going to put in the fraction bar yet, up above or below, but I know I need it because that means division. And because it says quotient, and quotient isn't a turnaround phrase, so we can just do whatever order it's written in. So the quotient of a number, what do we write? We don't know what that number is. What do we use? A variable of any kind. I'm going to be boring and use x. So the quotient of a number, and can we agree that 2 is pretty self-explanatory? Okay, so that's going to be x divided by 2, because that's the quotient of a number and 2. So that is what we're subtracting 7 from. I'm going to scoot it over a little bit so it doesn't look so spaced out. So the tricky thing here, that word quotient, everybody forgets what the word quotient means. And less than is that turnaround phrase. So x divided by 2, take away 7, is a code word for what? Equals. And can we agree that 8 is pretty self-explanatory? So that's what you should have for this sentence. X over 2 minus 7. Oh, you know what? You brought up a good point. Okay. Somebody just brought up a great point. This is okay too. Because negative 7 is the same thing as a minus 7. So you could do that as well. Thank you for bringing that to my attention, because you're right. That would work also. Adding a negative 7 means the same thing as subtracting 7. So actually, either one of those would be correct. Okay, questions about the first one? All right. I got one more sentence for you. Then we're going to play a little game to practice. 6 times the sum. Oh, that's ugly. Of 8 and a number is 13. Take your best guess. Turn that into an equation. Write it on your board. Who cares if you're wrong? Nobody cares. Better to mess it up today than tomorrow. I'm going to give you a second to do that. This is actually the class that I've seen the most correct answers in the first time, guys. Bravo. All right. So first of all, I'm going to start with this keyword sum. What am I doing when I'm finding a sum? Am I adding, subtracting? What am I doing? I'm adding something. So I know I'm going to add something. Can we agree that 8 is self-explanatory? The sum of 8 and a number, so 8 plus x, is a code word for equals. And 13, I feel like, is pretty self-explanatory. So the 6, now let's deal with the 6. What I'm getting ready to write is 95% correct, okay? Not quite correct, but almost, okay? 6 times the sum of 8 and a number. So the reason I'm not 100% right is because in order of operations, which one of these would I do first? Would I do the multiplication or the adding? I'd be doing the multiplication first, but this is telling me that I need a sum before I can do 6 times that. So that means the sum has to come first. What do I need to put around the 8 plus x? Parentheses. It's P for a reason, and please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. It comes first. So you gotta have parentheses around it. It says we need a sum. That means you gotta add, and you gotta tell whoever looks at your equation to go out of order of operation. So you gotta put parentheses around it. This is totally fine. I saw a few people in other classes did that. If you put a dot or not, it doesn't matter. Any of that is correct. Okay? Okay. So the next thing we need, we're going to have 1-step and 2-step equations as well. Okay, so now we are solving. We were writing them before only. Now we're solving. I'm going to give you a minute to solve it.
Is this off the homework or is this?
No, this is one. I got a list of stuff that's like similar to the quiz tomorrow.
Oh, we have a quiz tomorrow?
We do. It's short. It's just like the homework. It won't be a long one. Okay, I'm going to give y'all a minute to get your solution, your idea for a solution. Okay, so technically so what are the 2 things that are hanging out with the x that we need to get rid of? What do we need to get rid of over here? Yep. Okay, so that -3, and what else is over there that we need to get rid of? Well, no, we need the x to be by itself. What's with the x we need to get rid of? The 7, right. So what's on the same side of the equal sign? Those 2. Now, technically speaking, now this is what I don't want to see tomorrow. I've been seeing this all day. It's in red for a reason. I've been seeing that. Don't do that, okay? Yes, that's technically a -3, but it's a -3 sitting next to the x, which means multiplication. You don't cancel out multiplication by adding something to it. Now, technically, you could, if you wanted to, divide everything by 3, but here's why I wouldn't do that. It's not wrong if you do, but I wouldn't do it. I'm just going to show you why. Remember, you got to divide everything. I don't want to do 7 divided by 3 personally because that'd give me a messy decimal. So I personally suggest that you get rid of the +7 first. How do I get rid of a +7, folks? Go ahead and just tell me. Subtract it, right? And we know we've got to do it on both sides. So this is going to cancel, leave me with a -3x. Now, a lot of people have been messing this part up all day too. This is wrong. Don't put in your calculator. -14 minus -7. There aren't two minuses there. Just put in your calculator, -14, 1 minus 7, okay? If you do that correctly, you should get -21. Then I'm going to cancel out the 3, not by adding 3, but by dividing by -3. That'll cancel. Leave me with my isolated x like I need it to be. And then a negative divided by a negative is a +7. So any questions about where any of those steps came from? Yes, sir.
I got it. So what I thought.
Take a moment. Try this one out. I know division always makes us go, ah! Although I kind of gave away what part of that is, though. That's division. Think about how you cancel out division. I'm going to give y'all a minute. So I've got a -6. And what does this mean? Add, subtract, multiply, or divide? Divide, right? Okay, so I got to cancel out the dividing by 5 by multiplying. And I need to add 6 to both sides. It doesn't matter in this case which one you do first. I want to give you a warning, though. If you decide to get rid of the 5 first, it's fine for you to do that. But you have to make sure that you multiply everything by 5 in order to get the correct answer. That's why most teachers will tell you, get rid of the 6 first because you're less likely to make a mistake. But you are not wrong to multiply first, okay? I'm going to do it the way most of you guys did it from the way I'm looking. To get rid of that -6, we did a +6. And we know we have to do it on both sides. So that cancels. Leaves you with n divided by 5. And then 12 plus 6 is 18. Then we're going to cancel out this division. The opposite of dividing is multiplication. I've been seeing people do this wrong all day too. They go, oh, 5 times 5 is 25. No. The whole point of multiplying by 5 was that those guys cancel each other out. So you're just left with an n. You don't multiply those 5s together. You do have to multiply 5 over here, though. So most of you guys arrived at that correct solution of 90. So questions about example 2? No? Okay, last one. Okay, I'm going to shut up for a minute, give you a minute to try that one. All right, so we still have 2 numbers that we need to get rid of this time. Okay, now, contrary to the last example, you can't do it in either order. The order how you cancel it out matters this time because the n plus 7 is tracked above that 6. So you've got to get rid of the 6 before you can do anything else. We already know that that fraction bar means you're dividing by 6. We already know that the inverse is multiplying by 6. What I've seen people doing wrong all day about this is they think they need to do like the 6 times 7 and get 42. You don't. The whole reason we multiplied by 6 was because those are going to cancel each other out and leave you with an n plus 7. We do need to multiply the other side by 6, though. 8 times negative 6 is negative 48. Because it's a negative 8 times a positive 6. So negative 8 times 6. I can't stress enough, too, guys. Use a calculator on these tomorrow. Don't goof the answer because of your number rules. Yes? Why are you what? Why are you practicing if you have a calculator?
Yeah.
Well, because the calculator ain't going to do all that for you. Maybe you're just that smart. All right. Then, of course, to cancel out that 7, I need to do a 7 on both sides. So that will cancel. Leave me with an n. Negative 48 minus 7 is not negative 41. If you put it in your if you got that, you put it in your calculator wrong. Negative 48 minus 7 is negative 56. I'm sorry, negative 55. My bad. It's like you started out negative. You're getting even more negative because you took away 7 more. So that final solution is equal to negative 55. Work those problems. If you want to do it electronically, that's fine. I know it's kind of glitchy, like if you open it on Google Docs, so you can copy your answers on paper too, that's fine. We're going to review those homework problems first thing, then take your quiz after that. So it is to your benefit to actually do your homework, because if you're just watching me copy down the answers when you get here tomorrow, that's not really all that effective. You should try it yourself first, obviously. It's question by question, exactly the same number of problems, same type of problems. I'm not trying to surprise you or trick you or anything like that. Okay.